Gentler Than a Knife. Novel by Soren Stepanyan. Chapter 1. How to Raise a Good Girl. Begin with quiet. Do not just suggest it. Enforce it. Teach her the architecture of silence, not as an absence of sound, but as a presence in itself. A room she must learn to construct within the echoing chambers of her small skull. This room is her sanctuary, yes, but more importantly, it is a vault. A place where certain things are kept, held still, away from the prying, careless hands of the world. Observe her in the moments when the house is stillest. Dawn, perhaps, before the pipes begin their murmur and the distant traffic asserts its vulgar presence. Watch the dust motes. They do not rush. They hang, suspended, caught in the shafts of early light that pierce the room's dimness. They drift, yes, but with an unhurried grace, following currents invisible to the hurried eye. This is the first lesson in patience, in stillness, in understanding that movement need not be frantic, that direction can be subtle, dictated by forces beyond immediate perception. She must learn to simply be in this space, to fill it with her quiet presence, rather than attempting to displace it with noise. Noise is a weakness. It betrays. It invites intrusion. It is the outward manifestation of an uncontrolled interior. A good girl holds her sound within. Like a smooth, polished stone holds its color, revealing it only to the closest inspection, never shouting it to the indifferent air. Teach her to listen, truly listen, not just to the sounds outside, the wind, the distant dog, the creak of old timbers, but to the sounds within the silence itself, the soft intake of her own breath, the slow, steady beat of her own heart. These are her anchor points. These are the boundaries of her internal room. This silent vigilance is the first layer of protection you build around her. Small hands are easily led. This is their strength and their vulnerability. They reach for everything, indiscriminately. The glittering shard, the hidden thorn, the hand that promises warmth but delivers only betrayal. You must guide them. Show them purpose beyond grasping, the purpose of shaping, of smoothing, of arranging. Teach her the fold, the precise, clean crease in linen. Not a crumpled heap, promising chaos and neglect, but a sharp, geometric statement of order. Run your fingers along the edge you create. Feel the crispness. This is satisfying. This is control made manifest in the physical world. Show her how her own small fingers can replicate this. Guide them as they tremble slightly with the effort of aligning edge to edge. Repeat it, patiently, until the muscle memory understands the command. Until the idea of a soft, yielding fabric submitting to the will becomes intuitive. This precision in small things translates. It becomes precision in larger things, in thoughts, in actions, in the delicate handling of certain matters. Show her the stacking, not a haphazard pile, teetering and unstable, but a solid, balanced column. Plates, books, blocks, it does not matter the object. The principle is the same. Weight distribution, stability. Understanding that each piece supports the next, and that a single misplaced item can bring the entire structure crashing down. This teaches responsibility, yes, but also the quiet power of correct placement, the inherent rightness of things being where they belong. Disorder is a crack in the foundation. It must be sealed immediately, ruthlessly. Order is a kindness. It is the framework that prevents the world from collapsing in on itself. It keeps the chaos, the messy, unpredictable, hurtful chaos, at bay. And later, when she is older, stronger in her silent room, this ingrained sense of order will keep other things at bay too. Certain questions, certain memories, certain inconvenient truths that have no place in a well-ordered mind. Pale ribbons are useful, not the vibrant, gaudy colors that scream for attention, that attract the eye of everything hungry and careless. No, just the soft, muted shades. Creams, dove gray, the palest rose. Colors that suggest quiet strength, not flashy display. They are yielding, these ribbons, soft to the touch, seemingly innocent. But they are strong when used correctly. Teach her the knots. Start with the simple ones. The bow for tying back hair, a touch of harmless adornment that keeps things neat. Then move to the tighter ones. The functional knots. The ones that secure things, that prevent slipping, that bind. Show her how the loops interlock, reinforcing each other, how pulling tight makes the structure stronger. Watch her small fingers fumble at first, the ribbon slipping, the knot refusing to hold. Do not show frustration. Show patient insistence. Guide her fingers again. Demonstrate the necessary tension. This is how you teach the loop. The understanding that something fluid and yielding can be made firm. That connections can be made unbreakable. That a circle can be closed, leaving no way out. A loop can be a decorative flourish. It can also be a snare. She must understand this duality, the potential held within the softness. The knots for securing things, for packages, for bundles, for ensuring that what is enclosed remains enclosed, that what is tied down stays put. The tighter you pull, the more secure it becomes. There is a point just before breaking, a sweet spot of absolute tension. She must learn to feel that point, to understand the language of resistance in the material, the sigh of the ribbon as it strains, just before giving way. This is a vital lesson in the application of force. Not too much, which breaks and ruins. Not too little, which is ineffective. But the precise, necessary amount. And always, always ensure she understands boundaries. Not the loud, arbitrary walls shouted by others. The no, because I said so, that teaches nothing but resentment. But the quiet, inherent boundaries of the world. The edge of the rug, beyond which feet must be wiped. The specific drawer where sharp things are kept, not forbidden with fear, but acknowledged with respect for their nature. And avoid the door at the end of the hall. Do not linger there. Do not let her small hand stray towards its dark wood. Its shadow is too heavy. It clings to the floorboards like spilled ink that refuses to dry. There is a weight to that shadow, a density that seems to pull the light out of the air around it. It is not a place for small hands or curious minds. Its boundary is absolute, unquestionable. Do not draw attention to it with stern warnings or fearful glances. Treat it simply as a fact. Like the sky is blue or fire is hot, it is the door at the end of the hall. You do not go there. Its shadow is too heavy for small hands. The reasons are not debated. They simply are. The house has its own breathing, its own settling sounds in the night. Do not encourage her to ask about them. Do not offer explanations. The house is old. It has its own life, its own silences. Her task is to exist within its structure, not to question its nature. Watch her eyes. This is crucial. The eyes are windows, but they can also be mirrors, reflecting what is shown to them. You control, as much as possible, what is shown, but sometimes, in unguarded moments, when she thinks she is unobserved, there is a flicker, a light in the depth of the pupil that seems to possess its own independent energy. A frightened, flickering thing, like a match struck in a dark, damp place, struggling to catch. It is small, easily missed, easily dismissed as childish fancy or passing mood. But you see it. You recognize the stubborn potential held within that fragile spark. It is individuality attempting to assert itself. A thought that did not originate with you. An impulse that was not guided. This flickering thing might one day burn. It might ignite something unpredictable, something that could consume the careful architecture you are building. You watch it, not with anger, but with study. With the detachment of a scientist observing a specimen. What are its triggers? What makes it flare? Can it be contained within the quiet room? Or is it a fundamental flaw in the material itself? This observation is ongoing. The strategy is not yet decided. Containment is preferable, but sometimes pruning is necessary. Provide nourishment, simple, clean meals, prepared with care, with an understanding of what a growing body needs. Vegetables from the garden, washed meticulously, lean protein, cooked through. Nothing too rich, nothing that might upset the delicate internal balance. Ensure she eats it all, every last bite. Waste is disrespect. Disrespect for the effort. Disrespect for the resources. But more than that, waste is a form of rebellion. It is a rejection of what is offered, what is provided for her own good. Clean plates teach gratitude, yes, but also absolute, unquestioning obedience. They are not separate lessons. The clearing of the plate is the physical manifestation of internal acceptance. There is no room for rejection here. No allowance for personal preference when personal preference might lead to deficiency, to weakness, to vulnerability. Sing to her softly, old songs, lullabies that speak of sleep, of stillness, of quiet endings. Let your voice be a drone, a hypnotic current that washes over her, smoothing the edges of her thoughts. Let it fill the spaces where questions might otherwise gather, where doubts might take root. Let your voice be the sound that defines the silence, that gives it shape and familiarity. It is a form of gentle persuasion, a soft binding of her attention, her consciousness, to the reality you are creating for her. Remember, this is not about cruelty for its own sake. Those who inflict pain blindly are amateurs. They are the hammer, not the blade. This is about structure, about foundation, about the meticulous process of taking something formless, a child, a life, and giving it a necessary functional shape. You are not breaking her spirit, as the soft world might say with disapproval. Spirit, in its untamed form, is dangerous, unpredictable. You are channeling it, giving it boundaries, ensuring it flows where you direct it, not where it might erratically lead itself. You are not breaking her. You are building her correctly. Solid, contained, resilient. Yes, but within the parameters you define. This is how you save her. This is the fundamental truth that the chewing world cannot comprehend. The world outside is full of teeth, full of rough edges and careless appetites. It chews on innocence, wearing it down like a stone in a rough current. It chews on hope, grinding it into dust. It chews on vulnerability, finding the softest spots and tearing them open. It is a world of unpredictable pain, of arbitrary harm, of slow, agonizing consumption. My method is different. It is precise. It is deliberate. It is a preemptive measure, a way to ensure that she is not subjected to the world's brutal, messy feast. By shaping her, by containing her, by removing the parts that the world would inevitably find and exploit, you make her inedible. You make her safe. This is how you save her from a world that chews soft things and spits out the mangled rind. You remove the softness yourself with care, with precision, before the world gets its indiscriminate teeth into her. It is an act of ultimate protection, of ultimate, albeit distorted, love. Consider the future, the woman she will become. If the flicker is contained, if the architecture holds, she will be graceful, controlled, unseen by the chewing world, because she offers no vulnerable edges for it to latch onto. She will move through life quietly, efficiently, leaving no trace of distress, no scent of fear for the predators to follow. She will be a ghost in the machine of chaos, unmolested. If the flicker cannot be contained, if it catches fire and threatens the structure, then the process must adapt. The pruning must be more severe, the boundaries reinforced with absolute finality. It is a necessary consequence, not a desired outcome, but a potential variable accounted for in the initial design. This understanding is not for everyone. Most see only the surface, the quiet, the order. They mistake it for gentleness in their limited definition of the word. They do not see the steel rod running through the core. They do not see the careful removal of anything that might compromise the structure's integrity. They do not see the love that dictates such precise, such demanding construction. Love, in its truest form, is not always soft. Sometimes it is hard. Sometimes it is necessary. Sometimes it involves making choices that appear cruel to those who value only superficial comfort. But true love, effective love, is about ensuring survival. In a world that chews, survival requires a certain resilience, a certain lack of vulnerability, a certain quiet sharpness of one's own. And you, reading this, listening to the rhythm of these words, can you feel the weight behind them? The absolute certainty? Do you see the logic in preparing a soft thing for a hard world by making it less soft? Do you understand that the greatest kindness can sometimes appear, from the outside, indistinguishable from cruelty? Look closer. Beyond the simple instructions, beyond the maternal tone, see the architecture of necessity. See the love that drives the precise, demanding hand. See the world as it truly is, a place of indiscriminate appetite. And then see this process not as an act of harm, but as an act of salvation. Achieved not with grand gestures or loud pronouncements, but with quiet persistence, with careful instruction, with an understanding of the profound power held within stillness, within order, within the taut silence of a perfectly tied knot. This is how you raise a good girl. This is the necessary work. It is demanding, it is unending, and it is, in its own way, beautiful. The beauty of absolute control. The beauty of absolute safety, purchased at a necessary cost. The beauty of a life shaped, deliberately, precisely, into something the world cannot chew. This is the manual. Pay attention. It might save you, too.